Welcome to the ninth house. I'm your host. Man, it's really something about today. Got the dogs barking, and it looks like a nasty storm is brewing. But anyways, what in the world?
This is my ninth house now. I'm your host, Lucifer, and together we will take over this world because no one can stop us.
Welcome back to the ninth house residents. To our guest, if you would like to become a resident, simply click that subscribe button to stay up to date on the latest content and videos. I'm your host, Victor Eves, bringing you the new video, The Rise of Lucifer, and how to stop it. Good versus evil, light versus darkness. But what does it mean to pick a side? If God is good and creator of all things, then doesn't that mean that God is also evil? These are questions we must ask ourselves if we're ever going to find the right answer. But to find the right answer requires a deep understanding of oneself and how one sees the world around with honest clarity. Have we searched for our answer in both the right and wrong areas? Have we experienced both the light and the darkness to know which is the most natural form of expression for us? We often require the paradox to distinguish the pain from the pleasure. For out of sorrow can we appreciate true bliss and learn to return no more, because we are finally ready for the light after an eternity in darkness. There is no question that the world we live in today bears a coat of many colors. There are a variety of shaded philosophies and teachings on the spectrum. It is said that Jacob saw a ladder that was connected to heaven in his dream. On it were angels ascending and descending. And the Lord stood over him and said, I am the Lord your God, and the land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Behold, I am with you, and I will keep you wherever you go. And Jacob awoke and said, surely the Lord is in this place. This is none other than the house of God and the gate of heaven. So, what is Lucifer? To understand this question, one must understand the paradox of God, which John Milton characterized in the epic poem Paradise Lost as supremacy over all that there is. Lucifer, however, is described as a overwhelmingly prideful personality who refuses this acknowledgement, even after recognizing God's supremacy as plain fact. To achieve his desired level of self-aggrandizement, Lucifer is determined to assert that 2 + 2 makes 5. There is something deeply self-destructive about this, which is, of course, the ultimate attraction. In our own lives, we might recognize Lucifer through our actions, and although self-destructive, it is most enticing to say the least. Lucifer represents our dark side, a side of us that vibrates on such a low frequency that the weaker entities known as demons are attracted to that like energy, enhancing those human desires for material comfort. And with our pride, we are corrupted by the ego, which takes us away from our natural state in the lights. Thus, we are separated from our oneness with the Supreme Creator in what is known as the Lucifer effect. But why do we need this Supreme Creator? The Zohar expresses that all of the Creator is the gateway to everything. That is a profoundly spiritual experience. It is seeing things as they really are. As the Zohar puts it, we feel awe before God because He is almighty and governs over all, because He is the source and essence of all worlds. So, what is so difficult about accepting this? Why do people resist it? What possible reason could there be for refusing to acknowledge the greatness of God and thereby receive the true fulfillment that He has ordained for us? The answer might not be as intuitive as it seems. Too often, ministers, religious scholars, churchgoers, and spiritualists alike love God because they are rich, because they have length of life, because their children are around them, because they rule their enemies, and because they succeed in all their ventures. But if the Creator were to revolve the wheel of fortune and replace those gifts with harsh punishment, they would turn against Him. Therefore, this love lacks foundation. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish. Mankind as a whole, or more particularly the Western element, has lost in some incomprehensible way its spiritual vision. Job chapter 28 verses 28, the beginning of all knowledge is fear of the Creator. Socrates is said to have linked fear and knowledge when he defined courage as knowing what to fear. But what does this mean? Fear of God is simply an acknowledgement of the supreme source of wisdom, energy, and light. In this sense, fear of God frees us from fear in any other form. We fear the Creator, not with sweaty palms and shortness of breath, but with the clear understanding that the Creator is the ultimate source of strength in this universe. By fearing the Creator, and only the Creator, we are liberated. We gain the power and the courage to face any obstacle with calm and trust. So, if Lucifer is simply the lack of light and source energy, how do we close this gap? Simply let go and let God. Too many of us fear God because we don't want to lose the things that make us comfortable and happy here on this earth plane. We are afraid that illness might strike our family, and so we identify that fear with the Creator. We don't want our house to burn down, and so we're afraid that God might inflict that upon us. Health and home are very human needs, and when we do feel such fears, we should realize that in fearing, we have essentially made ourselves hostage to the vicissitudes of life in this world. We have bound our happiness to the well-being of people and things whose very natures are vulnerable and even perishable. As long as we are afraid of losing these things, as long as we make that fear the motivation for our relationship with God, we cannot truly reveal His light, and in darkness we shall remain.
If you're frightened of dying and you're holding on, you'll see devils tearing your life away. But if you've made your peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the earth. It's just a matter of how you look at it, that's all. So don't worry, okay? Okay?
If the universe is perfect, then quit trying to hold on to what you think it should be and trying to change it. There is no manipulating the divine order. What is already here has been here before we've arrived. When one seeks to control and to change the equation of 2 + 2 = 4 and making it 5, they disrupt the natural order, bringing chaos into this world. What is too often misunderstood by religious ideology is that it is not the Creator who inflicts punishment on us. We inflict these punishments on ourselves. However, salvation and transformation are always available at every instant, no matter how far we've fallen. But here's the key. Always there is hope. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. The Kabbalists explain that the loss of hope is one of the most powerful weapons of Lucifer, the dark side of our nature. We can always free ourselves, even at the last instant of life. We can always open ourselves to the sense of awe that sustains the very existence of our world. From creation, we were first blinded by the overwhelming light, then fled into the darkness of which we gained our wisdom, until, finally, we'll be transformed. It is said that when the light of the Creator was fully revealed, it was everywhere. Then it withdrew, creating a distance between itself and the material realm. Not a physical distance, but a spiritual one, where it's now our task to bridge over through the course of a lifetime, if we're ever going to stop Lucifer and reconnect with the light.
Sparky, where's Satan? Where's Satan? Where's Satan? Where's Satan?
Jacob saw a ladder that was connected to heaven in his dream. On it were angels ascending and descending. And the Lord stood over him and said, I am the Lord your God, and the land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring. Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go. And Jacob awoke and said, Surely the Lord is in this place. This is none other than the house of God and the gate to heaven. Once again, I'm your host for the 9th house, Victor Eves, bringing you more content every other day. So subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Thank you. You can't win, Lucifer. I can do all things through God that strengthens me.
What? No. No!
Sparky, where's Satan?